right, let's go.
Mr. Digglepuss. Mr. Digglepuss! Oh, I think he's afraid of my shadow. Why do you be like me? I'm brave because I fear nothing when I am in the right. Whoever pushes me around will find me full of fight. I fear nothing when I do nothing wrong, and so I toddle on my way and sing a merry song.
Oh yeah. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. Yes, guys, due to the fact that I still have quite a few FBA holes coming into my comment section, mad at me because of what I've been saying about Black Panther and the news about the film and the recast and everything, I figured I would drop the bomb on you guys and just drop the mic on you. This is going to shut all of you up, or it should. If not, I'm looking forward to how you're going to move the goalpost on this one. But I just want to share a few things with you. But I want to remind you guys that I'd say probably about 4 years ago, I did a video entitled Why We Love Dead Black Men. And in that video, I was talking about how we're so comfortable when black men die because we get to claim black men for our own message. You know, at the time I was talking about, say, like George Floyd, like everyone picked up the body in the memory of George Floyd and they used it for whatever they wanted to use it for. You know, some people, they wanted to use it, like you see some of these guys online, you know, they make their little snarky comments. It's the source of never-ending comedy for some people. The George Floyd jokes are just fast and loose. Then for other people, they use George Floyd to further their political ambition. You know what I mean? So you never do know exactly who that human being George Floyd was. You know that he was a criminal, right? You know that he did drugs, and you use what limited things you know about him to further whatever agenda you might have, whether it's comedic, whether it's political, whatever. And I was saying also, Chadwick Boseman. You know, people love to invoke the name of Chadwick Boseman to justify everything that a big Hollywood major studio is doing. You know, we're doing this in the name of Chadwick Boseman. We're making all of these sequels and TV shows in the name of Chadwick Boseman. And is that really what the man was about? So the reason why this is resurrected now, this topic, is, like I said, because of the announcement about David Johnson picking up the role of T'Challa Jr., to Bastard. So everyone's been talking about it. So I figure that is a reason why I'm talking about it, you know, because like I said in the last few videos, I don't appreciate that the focus has shifted from what they did with the character of T'Challa and how I feel like it was a disservice to the character, as well as the memory of Chadwick Boseman. And it's shifted now to FBAs and all of that stuff. Who's American born? Who's a tether? And all of that. And to me, that topic has no place in this context. But here we are. And since I'm making these videos talking about it, I've had a lot of FBA holes coming in here wanting to tell me off. Now, right here, I want to give respect and a shout out to all of the FBAs, the real FBAs, the Foundational Black Americans who understand what I'm talking about. A few of you have also popped up in the comment section, and you have a wide variety of opinions on this, and I really do appreciate it. It's funny how the real FBAs really do know how to express themselves intelligently, thoughtfully. It's just those FBA holes who come in with the biggest mouths who want to be as inflammatory and they want to attack and they want to use ad hominems and all of that stuff. I recognize that, right? But I want to point something out here because, like I said, we love dead black men to the point where we don't listen to what those men had to say in life. Well, today, right now, I want to highlight Chadwick Boseman in his own words, what he had to say, which might be a little enlightening to some of you FBA holes out there who really do think you have the high road in all of this, all right? I want you to hear what Chadwick Boseman had to say. All right, now some of you might remember Chadwick went on to the Breakfast Club years ago, and he had something to say about AfricanAncestry.com and tracing your roots and getting back connected. And I think that most true FBAs understand that delineation doesn't mean separation. It's the FBA holes who take it way over the top and they want to separate. They want to boycott. You know, they want to fight when they see a non-black American taking a so-called black American job or black American role in Hollywood and things like that. But it's gotten to the point where you've become insulting and you've become divisive. And I want Chadwick to speak for himself, since you want to invoke the name of Chadwick Boseman. Because, for example, I shared this article the other day, and this line here, right, where she says, Johnson, as in David Johnson, as Black Panther, they really passed on Demson Idris for some random British guy with zero connection to the culture. Chadwick is rolling in his grave, wrote one user. So Chadwick, according to this person, is rolling in his grave. Okay? Once again, using the memory of a dead man to make their point. Would Chadwick Boseman be rolling in his grave at the announcement of David Johnson taking a role in Black Panther? Well, like I said, I want to take a look at what Chadwick Boseman himself had to say. Okay? So let's take a look at something right here. Bear with me, guys. All right, let's get this out of here. All right, let's hear this. Now, remember, this is Chadwick Boseman on The Breakfast Club. Let's check out some of the things that Chadwick Boseman had to say. And I really want you to pay attention to the very first thing he says here. I love this quote. I have it on my Twitter page. Check it out.
You know, I'm not here to like to cause division at this point in time. I'm here to be a light so that you can see that you're wrong.
You hear this? Chadwick says, I'm not here to cause division. I'm here to be a light so you can see that you're wrong. All right? Basically what he was talking about here, just to put it in context, is he was talking about racist people or people who other people identify as racist, right? He's not here to cause division, right? He's here to take the high road, is what he's saying. I love that quote. I'm not here to cause division. I'm here to be a light so you can see that you're wrong. And the only way that you can do that is by having righteous conduct, you know, being a leader, being an example. And that's what Chadwick's talking about. Let's go on.
So in real life, who would you have agreed with more, T'Challa or Killmonger?
Well, as an African American, I connect with Killmonger.
That's how I felt.
Yeah,
I didn't like the way he treated people, but
yeah. As an African American, I have both sides because I have a huge family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of the traits of T'Challa, but Killmonger, there's as African Americans, we've been severed from our past. We've been severed from the continent in a way where we're reaching for a connection to it. So he has the demarcations on his body,
mm-hmm.
but he doesn't have like a real ritual connection to those demarcations. He made it into something else, and so I think we're all searching for things because we're looking for those rites of passages that have been left behind. At the same time, you know, I feel like T'Challa has a tradition, and he has a connection to his ancestors that I long for.
Mm-hmm.
He has a connection to his ancestors that I long for. Chadwick longs for that connection to his ancestors. He longs for that connection to his motherland, is what he's saying. Okay, for all of you people who you spit on Africa now, I just don't understand where this came from. You know, back in the day, you know, it just seems like, you know, especially during the golden age of hip hop, it was really about recognizing your roots. It was about pride in where you come from. You know, it was about pride in your ancestry and all of that stuff. But now it's like it's just amazing to me how twisted we've become. But anyway, let the man speak. You know, this is good stuff.
For that, and I feel like Killmonger long. They're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
But as an African American, you're always gonna feel like, until you make that connection, that there's a disconnect there. What I did is I took a DNA test.
Me too.
Oh, this is important, but I just wanted to say, as an African American, he's saying, or a Black American, you're always going to feel that disconnect. There's always going to be a disconnect until you're able to, I guess, connect or focus or find where you come from, is what he's saying. Now, he's about to spin off into this African ancestry thing, and I really do want you to pay attention, because all of this is very important, especially if you're going to make a stand against David Johnson. Okay, now I'm not campaigning for David Johnson. Like I said, I didn't even want the conversation to be this. I really didn't. Like, I wanted the conversation to be about what they did to the character, right? It's like my objection is with T'Challa Jr., to Bastard. That's where I wanted to keep it, and how I feel they disrespected this man, Chadwick Boseman. But you're the guys, you're the people, you're the ones who made this about Black Americans versus tethers, versus foreigners, versus Africans and Caribbean and all of that stuff. I don't even understand how that got into this, but since it is, let's listen to what he has to say about ancestry.
So where you from?
I'm 97% East African, West African.
No, see, that's the wrong test.
Which one you took? Like, you got the
You took ancestry.
Yeah.
All right, let's get past this ad. Sorry, guys, YouTube got a YouTube.
I took African ancestry.
What's the difference?
So African ancestry can tell you the specific ethnic group that you come from. So not only, if you just know, the country, that's still the European borders to a certain degree.
Got you.
Yeah. But if you know that you're Yoruba from Nigeria, then you can now you can pinpoint specific customs and rituals.
Got you.
That are part of your past. If I know that I'm Jola from Guinea-Bissau, I'm naming all the stuff that I found in mine. That I'm Limba from Sierra Leone.
He found out that he's Limbo from Sierra Leone. Now, he's talking about reconnecting. He's talking about getting back in touch with your roots and where you come from, okay? But I want you to remember that. He says that he's Limbo from Sierra Leone. Now, hold on. Let me just bring this down for a minute, because I want to refresh your memory, okay? This is going to blow your mind, baby, all right? Now, when we talk about David Johnson, okay, let's see here. It says here that, let's see, where is it at? Johnson, for what it's worth, is British, but he has Sierra Leone and Nigerian heritage. Well, didn't Chadwick just say he also has Sierra Leone and Nigerian heritage? He just said that. All right, so this is something we have to keep in mind, guys. It's incredibly ignorant to try to separate yourself from your ancestry, from your heritage. Somebody is telling you, Black people out there, that foundational Black American in delineation means that you have to shun. Well, I don't even think that. I just think that's the way you're taking it. I don't even know if people are telling it to you that way, but the result of this is that that's what's happening. That's the reason why I said in a past video, you can tell a lot about a tree by the fruit that it bears. All right, because the tree is foundational Black American. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with delineating. There's nothing wrong with the boundary, like we're finding out who you are, and establishing your experience here in America. There's nothing wrong with that. Please, if you're going to quote me on anything, please quote me on that. There's nothing wrong with being a foundational Black American. What I'm saying is, don't become a foundational Black asshole. Don't become an FB a-hole. Because that's what a lot of people are taking this as. I see it online. It's like you're insulting Africans. You're insulting our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean. It's like, we don't need that. We don't need that. And ultimately, you're insulting the human family as well. That's something also that Chadwick Boseman talked about in this interview as well. I'll leave the link to it in the pinned comment below. But our kinship with humanity is very important. Whether it's African, whether it's Caribbean, whether it's white, whether it's anything. It's like we can't afford to be represented by these insufferable FB a-holes. But unfortunately, that's what's happening because they speak up the loudest and they twist up the narrative, right? So anyway, there it is. It's like David Johnson. Also, he has this in common with Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman just out of his own mouth that he found out he has roots in Sierra Leone and Nigeria, right? David Johnson also, he has Sierra Leone and Nigerian heritage. So there you have it, guys. I mean, what can I tell you? Let's go on a little bit more.
That's a more specific. I could go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
There that specifically knows, this is your background.
I need to do that. They told me I was 97% West African, which made sense because if you go to Charleston, they're building a African American Arts Museum on this plot of land, and that plot of land was the dock that like 60-something% of all slaves in America came through.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so they're going to talk about that. And like I said, I'm going to leave the link to that in the pinned comment below. But I just want you to see some other things before we move on. All right, so it says here, in preparing for his role as the Black Panther, Chadwick told Stephen Colbert in an interview that his ancestral identity played a part in inspiring his role. This is a quote from Chadwick Boseman. What we had to do was ground it in an authenticity that is African. For me, I am Yoruba, and also found out that I am Limba from Sierra Leone. So what does that mean to me, and how can I bring that to the film? Chadwick also insisted that as T'Challa Black Panther, he speak with an accent that was African in origin, and not with an American or European accent. He reasoned that the people of Wakanda had never been colonized or enslaved, so it would not make sense to speak in an accent that was not of African origin. All right, let's look at one more thing. And he did a great job with that too, didn't he? Okay. All right, Chadwick Boseman also says here, he says, T'Challa has a connection to his ancestors that I longed for. Let's see here. Said Black Panther's Chadwick Boseman, who traced 3 lines of his family tree to the Limba people in Sierra Leone, Jola people in Guinea-Bissau, and the Yoruba people in Nigeria. I took this DNA test because it doesn't just tell the country. If you know you're Yoruba from Nigeria, now you can pinpoint specific customs and rituals that are a part of your past. All right, guys. So once again, you actually saw that bit in the interview with the Breakfast Club. All right, guys, bear with me. I don't usually like to do videos after I work. This has been a 12-hour day. I'm extremely tired right now. I could pass out right in front of this camera, but I'm trying to get a message across here, and I hope that it's coming through. I really won't know until like the morning when I wake up and I watch it, and I'm going to be like, damn, that shit didn't make no sense, Mark. You can't put that video out. But hopefully it does, okay? Because what I'm trying to show you, my dear people that I love so much out there, but you're still coming into my comment section cursing me out and trying to tell me off. You've been led astray. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked into discriminating against your own. All right. Now, I'm not talking about, well, don't black Americans have a right to work and have a job? Yes, they do. Of course they do. Like, I'm not trying to push for anyone to beat you out of a job or anything like that. My message is you have to compete. That's what I've been saying from the very beginning. You have to compete, not just with white people, not just with Latinos and Indian, but the world. You have to compete. You have to compete with Africans, So if you have a problem with Africans taking what you consider to be black American jobs and black American roles, well, then the challenge is on you to compete, to do better, to try harder. You got no choice because no one is going to give you anything. But when you wrap this up and you try to bundle this in with something that Chadwick Boseman would have wanted, when you talk about boycotting Black Panther 3 because David Johnson is not an American black, well, I just showed you Chadwick Boseman, in his own words, would not want that. Chadwick Boseman valued his ancestry. He valued his ties to his ancestors and his past. He just told you that. It's not me. You can tell me off if you want to. That's the reason why I showed you the video of Chadwick himself. But once again, this is why we love dead black men, because you get to interpret what Chadwick had to say, even though I played it for you, and I'm a very literal person. I love listening to words. I love hearing words. And to me, I don't like complicating words. He said it very clearly. To me, there was no misunderstanding. He values his ancestral ties. He values his ties to Africa, his ties in the past. And he valued tracing and finding out his roots, you know, and he wanted to use that in his interpretation of the character. I'm led to believe, based on all of that, that he would not object to the casting of British black people. You know, I don't think that he would think that would be an issue, you know, but you can feel how you want to feel about it. You can take this as another green light to come into my comment section and tell me off. Nothing will change. You continue to just love dead black people, because dead black men specifically, so you can just interpret them however you want to. You know, one day when I'm dead, you'll interpret my words, you know, to mean something different. One day, as a matter of fact, you, right now, somewhere in the future, I'm gone already. And you might have come across this video, and I'm already gone. And you can look at this and make of what you want out of it. You know, you can say, damn, Mark, you were the asshole. You can say that. You know, I can't fight back. I'm already gone somewhere in the future. Somewhere in time, I'm already gone. And you can take my words for however you want. All right, but I'm on video telling you that disunity, division, all of these things, it's not the way, man. It's not the way. And I just wanted to bring you this message just to give you a little something to think about, okay, if you care to. All right, guys, I got to go pass out. Hopefully this made sense. I'll watch it back later and we shall see. But until then, thank you guys for putting up with me. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, get in the comment section, tell me how you feel about all of this, tell me off, whatever. And I will catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks again. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C, and Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Thank you for all you did. Thank you for all you said. Rock on.